What's up, team? Welcome to the nightly watch list. I'm sorry for being behind. I ended up bringing everything up. I forgot the hotkeys, and then I went ahead and closed everything out. I closed out the studio, so I apologize. I hope you guys had a great day. We got a lot of stuff in store here for you guys tonight. Thank you for joining us. If you could, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already done so. I post videos every day, and we trade live right here. YouTube, Ivy League Trading, YouTube.com. You can follow me on Twitter, Ivy League Trades, at Ivy League Trades, Ivy League Trading, Twitter.com or X, whatever it's called. So, what did we leave off with last night? What did we say? I said last night, I think we get a gap up. Well, we got a very small gap up, a very small one. But we stayed in between the levels I thought we were going to stay in, guys. 450, 455 was the high, but more importantly, and I have it written down, 449 was my expectation for the downside. We got to 488, 448.78. Nice. So, you know, this is not, hey, look what I did. Oh, I know what the market's going to do. I don't know what it's going to do. I don't know if there's news. We're going to get into the news. We're going to get into the trade of the day. We're going to get into trades for tomorrow. There's some short squeezes going on. A lot of squeezing of the shorts going on. And then some shortable things. I actually forgot about this stock today until what actually helped remind me of it was after hours these things started running. So if you could hit that like button. Thank you guys so much for joining us. First things first, we'll just start with the S&Ps. We said yesterday we were going to get to this pivot high right here, right? I didn't think we were going to get all the way up to this base, right? Maybe 452, maybe, which we wicked up there. But I was more lenient on this. I was leaning on this resistance level here of 451. 451, and we did close above it. You need to, you know, take that into consideration that we did close above it. Now, did we start to hang there? Number comes out, you know, we start working our way towards that Fed day gap, right? This orange box, or this clear box, this gray box, I mean, that is a gap fill there, and this little blue box is that range from Fed day, which would be right here. This pretty much that candle right there, and that is like, you know, I put those boxes there on Fed days because if you'll notice, I could probably do it on a 5-minute chart if I have enough days left on this thing. I doubt it. We do. How nice. So if you'll notice, first lesson of the day, what do you have here? Now I could tighten this thing up. I've moved it so it's not exact. So here's our high and here's our low, right? Here's our high, here's our low. Now, if I pan into like a 3-minute, which I won't, I know for a fact, I'm sure I won't have time on a 3-minute. Why I do this is because I got my high and my low. And now when we go to break through that high or that low, I already have my box and I know what is the range that I'm in, right? How many standard deviations are we above VWAP? How many standard deviations are we away from yesterday's close, right? Based on a decision, you can see that you pretty much stuck the lows of the day, right? You pretty much, for the most part, right? You pretty much, at least on a 5-minute candle, you hung out there. But if I take you to this 5-minute candle, you'll see that when we broke it, this was the first break out on what? An increase in volume. And what else do we have? We'll have a test. Right there is where I would take a long. Now, these are, you can call it a scalp. It is a trade that, you know, I'll take profits as it goes up. Maybe I have, if I'm in options, you know, maybe I have a couple left and I let them just, I set a trailed stop, right? Things like that. That's why I do this. I set my high and low. I set my range because I've, at least for now, because you're going to come into a time when Fed days really don't mean nothing until they mean something, until the Fed changes something on you or something's going on like with what we have right now. Which brings me to the environment. If you were with us today, which we trade right here on YouTube, Ivy League Trading, YouTube.com. You can come join us. I start at 7:30. We stream till about 4. We'll go after hours. You know, all depends on what's going on. But you could have had a really nice trade on Meta today. This thing went 100% in a not like, but in a 3-minute candle, right? This thing, you know, some of the members were there. And they knew, right? They knew what I was looking for. And I'm going to get into why. Why was I looking at Meta for the downside? And what were my expectations? That's the biggest part about this, right? That's the biggest part about this lesson I'm going to get into. So as we get into it, if you could, please hit that like button. Subscribe if you are already not subscribed. And if you are, we thank you. But again, comment down below if you have any questions. I've been doing this for close to 10 years, guys. Yesterday, I told you we probably have a slight gap up and we'd hang out up in that area. And there's a reason why I thought that the probability of that happen is more so than the probability of another wicked upside or downside day. Let's get into the news. Let's talk about tomorrow. Then we're going to get into the charts. And then we're going to get into the trade. And this educational lesson is going to be valuable to you. There we go with the camera. You know what's funny? I was going to say this. I knew that I may have issues because I closed out of this, right? As I was trying to start this stream, I closed out of it, and here we go. It's already going to start with me, so let me go ahead. You guys will have to just be patient with me. I did this, and it all, I ended up Xing out of it by accident, so I'm going to have to go back and redo what I did. You guys will notice I had some issues with it, but I was able to fix it. So I'll have to do that after the stream. But anyway, if it pauses, just bear with me. So again, the S&Ps, all right, we said yesterday, we thought that we would get a slight gap. I was expecting a gap up. And again, I said, this does not mean I buy calls, right? Because I know what time decay is. I know what theta. I feel theta. Like, I know it. I've been trading for the amount of time that I've been trading now, the time that I have in the markets, I don't even have to look at the delta to know kind of where the delta is at each strike price, right? How it moves. I can sense how this thing's going to move, accordance to the options and things like that. And that's stuff you will get over time. If you have any questions about that, you can use delta to manage your risk, right? How your position sizing is so important. I stress that here. I come on every day, and I've had losers. But where were my losers? My losers were about break even. More so just because of commissions and, knowing that I'm wrong quickly and being able to identify I'm wrong and cut it, right? What if it goes against me? It goes against me. What if I was wrong about being wrong? I still managed my loss. That whether it was a win or whether it could have been just a bad loss if I didn't stop out or whatever. Sometimes, like me, you have a stop loss area, right? Sometimes, very rarely, will you have to, things could change. And just because you're not at your stop loss doesn't mean that you don't have to stop out. I would not recommend that if you're new. You set your stop loss because in accordance to where if it gets here and gets below or above that level, you're wrong. Your decision making has been wrong in accordance to whatever it is that you use, right? I'm here to provide you with some of the things that I use and some of the things that I do and the ideas and what it is that I look at, right? To help me with my decision making, right? And a lot of it comes with time, but you got to get an education. I'm working on a lot of those things right now. Again, I do this by myself. You guys keep track. I don't sleep. I don't even know what that is. So you'll see on the live stream like today, I had a couple Red Bulls because I didn't get coffee last night. Well, those Red Bulls knocked my ass out at lunchtime. We had the meta trade and that was it. After that, because I completely forgot about some of the small caps. The small caps I was looking at, they weren't really doing anything. And I forgot about VFS. And what made me, again, think about VFS was the couple that I'm going to get into right now that are running after hours. And they could bring some opportunity tomorrow, but I will more than likely be focused on some of these names, right? Some of these names I was looking at today that I'm going to show you that is going to help you whether we get upside or downside. Where are you going to want to be? What's strong? What's weak? Right? What's just hanging out? You need to identify those. This is the work that goes into the next day, right? Not just getting your levels, but identifying what's going on. Are you in a time period where you're getting rotation? Are you not seeing the fact that some other sectors are being bought? Or if there is no rotation, right? You guys, that kind of stuff for me, it took a while to really sense the rotation aspect, because you'll hear that in the markets and you won't really fully understand it until you are, at a point where you sense by going through, your charts and going through different sectors, you'll sense that divergence, and you'll sense the rotation. I do have an area that I'm looking at, but I think we're going to need a little more time. So let's get into the meta trade right now, and we'll go over the cues, but we're going to go over the news. First, let me cover the news real quick. Bada bing, bada boom. See, we're making progress here, team. I'm not writing stuff down anymore. I said I got Microsoft Word. Let's use this. If you don't know, we are live right here Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 4, if not 7 o'clock. If not 6:30, if not 5:30, if not 6. I will post the thumbnail. All you got to do is click the notification, subscribe so you know that I go live. And if you have any questions, comment down below, and I'll run through those questions as we get to them. I want to make this stream quick, so if you could already, just off the analysis from yesterday, last night, to what we got today, you already should have a feeling that, I've been doing this for some time, and I'm not going to come on here and make myself look like a jackass. Plain and simple. All right? The SPY did exactly what I had an intuition that it would do. That doesn't mean it has to do that. Again, we could get news and all that stuff. So I'm going to talk about GDP revisions, the data we got today, because it's important. And what I'm going to tell you about this news is going to give you insight on how to start reading this stuff. All right? It's more than just reading it. There's a lot of little bit of education that could go into these things that you're going to want to know, especially from now going forward for the second half of the year. How are you going to be positioned for the second half of the year? Where are you going to be positioned? Have you thought about that? All right. If you don't, you need to come up, you need to learn how to come up with a game plan and know where, not necessarily know, but identify where should you be in the markets, right? The market's like a farmer's market where you have a person giving a haircut. You have some person selling boots. You have another person with food, right? You have the pet store. You have all kinds of different little markets. Where are the people spending the money, right? That's how I like to look at it, right? Where are people leaving? Where are people putting their returns in? I want my money. I want my money. All right. So, that's how I have always really looked at the markets, right? There's a bunch of people in the market going around to different stores. Who's buying? Who's wanting their money back? So, CRM earnings. I told you guys earlier in the week, I was really looking forward to CRM earnings, and they had a blowout of earnings. I don't know about a blowout, but to me, they killed earnings, guys. They killed earnings. If you don't know, just from that little stat there, 75% growth from the second quarter of last year. From then till now, 75% growth. That's pretty big. Look at it. It's still hanging out up here, so the earnings call went well. The street is liking the performance of CRM, right? They're coming back. So, Q2 earnings per share, $2.12 beat versus an estimate of $1.90. That is an 11.5% increase, right? 78% increase over a year time span of $1.19 this time last year is pretty much what that is. Sales, 8.6 billion versus an estimate of 8.5 billion. That's nice, right? Sales are still there. We've been seeing a contraction in the data, and they're still being able to hang on tight, right? Still being able to do business and stuff. And like I said, guys, just bear with me because this is my fault. I ended up when I went to do this live stream, I ended up clicking out of it, and I said, man, this is going to mess my camera up. I know it is. It's just going to mess with the stream. So, Baidu. Okay, there's news with Baidu, and I have a photo that I want to show you guys from Carl Quintanilla on CNBC. You're going to like this because I commented on it last night, right? Baidu has gotten the okay from the Chinese regular Atori. Just kidding. From the Chinese regulatory approval that their AI search generative AI product is now available to the public. Xi Jinping gave them the okay. You're good. We approve. We gave you the guidelines that we want you to follow. You show them what we want you to show them. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, NVIDIA. Biden administration wants to block some AI chips to the Middle East, right? there's concerns about China getting access to them, this, so on and so forth. So they want, the Biden administration is asking for approval before exporting to certain countries, and I'm sure it is a list of chips that they're concerned about, right? We've gotten this news earlier. You know, that has actually, you remember that sell-off that we had with NVIDIA? That, like, we actually thought that it was going to hurt their earnings somehow, some way? Well, no, they've actually doubled. That hasn't hurt them a bit, right? Boeing shut down 2 of its facilities because of the hurricane. All right? That is because of the hurricane. So, Tesla as well, right? The DOJ, SEC from Wall Street Journal, and I hate that they put this stuff out there and try to paint people like they're this and they're that. Like the man doesn't have money to do what he wants. So, Wall Street Journal says the Fed is investigating the use of Tesla Incorporated funds on a secret project thought to be a house for the chief executive Elon, which is actually a glass house that I don't have here. So, I guess it's a glass house in Austin, Texas, that they're concerned about. They just want to know, where did this money come from, right? Who gives a, you know what I mean? Like, just leave people alone. Anyway, the Southern District of New York. New York. What the hell's New York got to do with Texas? That's all I want to know. Anyway, the Southern District of New York is seeking information about personal benefits paid to Musk and how much Tesla has spent on said project. The project is a glass house structure in Austin, Texas. All right, data. Here we go. We're getting into it. So, I got this question earlier. What did I think of GDP data? Well, there was a downward revision to 2.1% in the second quarter of GDP, right? It's showing a contraction of the GDP, which is the Fed citing now, whether it's the Fed, whether it's seasonality, whether it's, you know, it could be an abundance of things, right? May not be necessarily tied to the Fed. It could be. Maybe it's a little bit of everything. All right, so what I want to get, why does this not surprise me? Well, I look at data every day, right? Every single data point from jobs data, like your unemployment data, the GDP data, it has the CPI data, right? That has, like, the CPI data has actually came in lower than what was said. I'm pretty sure, or higher. One of the, anyway, I've been looking at it. So I've already seen that they have been revising all these numbers in what direction. No, that does not surprise me. It doesn't surprise me at all. And if you're just joining us now, if you could, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already done so. Thanks for joining. Sequib Gold, I love it. We're going to get into gold. Gold's going to do good. As long as this dollar goes down, if you see, Sequib, if you see the treasuries, specifically the 10-year pullback, we're going to talk about it. I'm going to dive deep into it, right? It's got at least GLD has a head and shoulders. We're going to get into it, but yes, I like gold as long as the dollar continues to pull back. Watch the euro, right? Watch the euro. If the euro can just get some strength and the US dollar can pull itself back a little bit, it's going to get its rally, right? It's put in this long base. I want to see that second stage rally. We're going to get into it. Thank you, Sequib. I'm sorry, bud. If I pronounce Sequib Ali. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong, man. Thank you for joining us tonight, man. Any other questions too? You can throw them in the chat. We're gonna get on gold. Let me write that down so I don't forget it, but I have it here. I'm going to be real quick with this. There's actually a couple things on here, and then we're good. We're going to go right to the charts. Core tomorrow. So we did the GDP. Again, these revised data, it's not surprising. It's not surprising at all. So core PCE, personal spending and income. Oh, real quick, but that GDP, even if it came in above, that also wouldn't surprise me. The data has been just coming a little bit above and a little bit below on all the revised data, so it's not surprising. Core PCE, personal spending, and income. Tomorrow is a huge day, and I'm going to get the charts, and I'm going to show you guys where I think the SPY goes if we get a good PCE number, which is low, or a higher than expected, right? Now, it is going to depend on how much higher or how much lower, or if it comes in line. What happens if it comes in line? Do we just sit here? I don't think so. So, I'm going to get into that real quick. All right. Yes. Also, MSOS, your Mary Jane stocks. All right. Cannabis. It's that time of year again, right? We're coming into the election year where you're going to have them start talking about legalizing cannabis. Well, there was an individual a little while back, and it's so funny because you can predict this, who was buying calls, and I didn't do it. And I'm like, he's right. It was the perfect time to put the risk on to even buy like 2025 calls. They're dirt cheap, right? They're dirt cheap because coming into an election, that's going to be one of the things that they're going to use to try to get try to get you to vote for them, right? It's like gold. It's as good as gold. Seriously. So it's that time of year again. They're talking about wanting to, where they're wanting to. So this is what I'm trying to avoid. Let me just read it. So it's that time of year again. Presidential candidates won't do and save crumbs to get possible second term. And I also think that they've been saving this to get a second term, by the way. They probably haven't worked on it because of obviously Russia, Ukraine, all the other stuff. But I feel like they could, and they really haven't been worried about it because they're like, we could use this for a second term, but they haven't done it. Like, do what you say you're going to do the first time around, then people will know my man is serious. So, Biden asked the HHS secretary and an attorney general to initiate the process of review of its scheduling to reschedule it to a Schedule 3 from a Schedule 1, right? That would put it in a category where they would claim it as a low psychological dependence. And this is an important fun fact. The U.S. Drug Enforcement is reviewing the call from Health and Human Services. This could open up cannabis to interstate trade, which is another thing people don't think about, right? Going state to state, right? Taking products state to state. So what happens is they have to buy wherever they're going, their dispensary, right? They have their dispensary. They have to grow it in the same state. So not only do they have to get their dispensary, they have to buy a place, get a place to grow it too in the same place because they cannot distribute it across state lines, right? So that's one of the biggest things. And the thing with cannabis too is like, how much growth is there? Now I'm gonna tell you right now, these companies are making money. Canada failed, and they failed horribly, right? They had a perfect opportunity, at least the government has had a perfect opportunity in the past, to have a thriving business going on right now that could have helped with so many things, guys. It could have helped with so many things having another source of income and money and jobs, right? And jobs. For trying to get this economy where it needs to be. You're just adding a whole nother sector to the, it's another commodity being added, and there's jobs, and there's other different things that go. What up, Chief? How you doing, bro? I mean, football's around the corner. I got a good live stream for you, and I have a really good lesson that we're going into like right now. But real quick, this DEA has final authority to schedule or reschedule it, right? It's ultimately up to them. This is not something that, they can just say, hey, can you do this? So they actually have the final word on what they want to do with it. So it's under the Controlled Substance Act. So that is that. All right. So here is a couple stocks that we're going to get into. We got into that. We got into what's going on here. Why does that look different? So MSOS, and we already got into the data and stuff. That's weird, right? That's weird how it just flipped from that and then it went to that and then to this, because it was this and then that before. Anyway, tomorrow, initial jobless claims. All right, we're going to have Fed Collins come out and speak after all this data that comes out. Chicago PMI. Also, CPI, PPI from Europe. Okay, as I like to say, Connor's Irishman. Right, from hold on, I'm sorry, guys. Italy. Okay, the whole world. This whole week, I have said we're getting inflation data galore, and that's what that's what the country is raising. Every country is raising rates for is inflation data. So yes, we get data. You're going to want to watch that, but have a peek at what's going on in Germany. Have a peek on what's going on in Europe. Have a peek at what's going on everywhere. Right? See what other people are going through. Right? And see if it starts to catch up to us, or if they start slowing down and we're speeding up. Like, just start trying to notice the difference, right? It's not just about us, it's about the entire world. So that's that. Trade of the day was Meta. If you guys want to write these down for tomorrow, Carvana, It started. It's actually been going the past couple of days and nobody's talking about it. All right. ICCT and NCNC also started squeezing after hours today. VFS is the stock I forgot about, and unfortunately it sold off today, and I completely forgot about it because as soon as these stocks, the stocks that I just gave you, you can go back or you can screenshot it real quick. CVNA, ICCT, NCC, or NCNC, they're making big moves. They were making decent moves after hours. All right. So then I was like, oh, then it popped into my head, hey, what's that? What's that one stock doing? Which is this one right here, VFS, right? It sold off. Supposedly the guy owned 80% of this company and it was around $80 billion. Well, on paper he's worth $80 billion, but unless there is $80 billion to buy it from him between everyone, he's not going to be able to sell all of it, right? So it's cool to say, hey, I was worth 80 billion at one point, but if you were to try to offload them, is which is what's going on. They've also, VFS has already stated they're going to be doing offerings. That's the kicker. All right, they've already said they're going to be looking to do they're going to be looking for equity, banks, they're going to be looking to raise money. They are. All right, this is a car company, and car companies take so much capital from hiring hiring engineers, getting the building the robots, the materials to build everything, having the assembly line, people, just paint, material. Like, it is money consuming. It takes a ton of capital. I would assume that is that's one sector, really. This is the automotive sector I feel like it takes a lot of capital. It takes a lot of capital to get things going, right? So, sourcing your materials, getting everything, building the building, and getting your assembly, getting the team to do it. Like, it's a lot of work, right? It's a lot of work. Again, CRM, guys. So I'm going to be watching CRM. Don't let me forget. I want to chart out some charts on this. Now, this may be contingent on the data that we get tomorrow. So if the market goes up, maybe we see CRM go up. But if the market comes down, I'm not sure right now, depending on the data, because it's going to depend on what the data is, right? If this is going to stay up here and we look to take it higher, or if we want to, the only way I'd probably take this is if it's higher. For this thing to sell off in a decent way is actually going to take, I don't know, maybe you get some profits takers, but I don't think you're going to, because they've doubled their revenue. They've doubled sales, practically. Just about 100%. Right? All right, so let's go into gold and stuff. Let me go into gold right now. Collins, if you have any tickers or any questions, bro, throw it in the chat. How you doing tonight, man? I think football starts here in a couple days, right? Starts tomorrow, maybe. I got so much I gotta do, guys. I have a lot to do. If you could hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already done so. Gold. Let's go into gold. Let me go use GLD real quick. Now, like I said a few minutes ago, this thing's been running. Why has it been running? This thing's been running because the dollar's been pulling back. Yields, 10 years, the 10-year and the 30-year specifically have been pulling back. Why did they raise in the first place? That Fitch downgrading is what really sent long-term bonds and lifted the yield curve, right? You had the front end of the yield curve, the short end, raised. The back end of it was lower. So pretty much you're getting a higher yield for a shorter amount of time. You get a 2-year bond, it's going to pay you more in interest than if you were to buy a 10 or 20 or 30. And you're like, whoa, that don't make sense. Well, it's just there's risk, right? There's risk. There's headwinds that are abroad that is being priced in a nutshell, right? In a nutshell. All right, so GLD. So what I got to do is I got to take you to a chart of yields. All right, we got to go to a chart of yields and the dollar for a few different reasons. All right, for a few different reasons. We're still just hanging out up here. What it looks like to me right now, man, if it can just get a little bit lower, I want to see. Now, this is all going to be depending on the PCE data, right? We have double bottomed on that 50-day. This red line right here is the 50-day moving average, guys. Just so you know. That's your 50-day moving average. Look at your RSI. All right, it's putting in lower highs as the 2 years putting in higher highs. I feel like we're coming on the verge of this thing pulling back, but where does it pull back to? Right? You can't expect much. But if we can get this thing back down to the 4.3s, right? That's where I'm looking to see if we can get this 2-year, if we start to get the data we're starting to see. So far, as of this week, everything is headed in the right direction, right? The labor market, GDP, all this stuff. Now it's just inflate the PCE data, right? That's what the Fed uses. You know, they don't use CPI or PPI. They use PCE. It's going to be determined by PCE whether gold can continue up or if it gets shot down. All right. More importantly, though, which I don't have to click on that, is the 10-year, guys. We got to watch the 10-year. Look at that ascending wedge. It broke out. It broke out. That could be a sign they're expecting PCE to come in a little bit better than expected. Right? That doesn't mean it is. One of two things. It's either pulling back here to hold support to climb higher, because it's not. Because if you look at the RSI, it's came down a little bit, and I put out a video Saturday, guys. I said the dollar. I feel like the dollar is overdone. And this week, what are we getting? We're getting the dollar to pull back. We're getting yields to pull back. That's been going with gold. Okay? Just so you guys know, I do put out a weekend video, right? I just want to show you guys real quick so you guys know that what I'm saying isn't BS. Right here, 3 days ago, Dixie, DXY, which is the dollar. Right there, guys. I said I feel like it's overdone. That was 3 days ago. All right? So this is what gold's going to... I would... Listen, and I've been doing this with the SPY. So if you don't know, a couple weeks ago, before we got to where we are now, the dollar, or the S&Ps and the market, were actually going up with yields and with the dollar. They were both going up together. But it wasn't until the 10-year broke above this level here, right? It was like this level here. Once we broke 4%, market didn't like it. That's when we had that big pullback, right? We ran like I don't know what that rally that we had a few weeks ago, where we went 15 points in the S&Ps, right, which would be like 150 on in futures. Yields were going up as well. And if you're not knowing, you got to watch these things and how they move together. And you'll notice they're both moving up together. Do you know something's going on? When does that divergence happen? Just being smart enough and being told, listen, if yields are going up and the market's going up with it, where is the point that the market can no longer go up with yields? Where is that point? Identify it. That way you know when you pull back to it and it starts breaking it, you can expect the market to more than likely probability, start, getting some weight lifted off of its shoulders where it can climb higher. I've been noticing that. You can notice times the VIX and the SPY will go up together at times. You want to notice that because that's a clear sign. When the VIX is rising, that is people backing up their risk, right? They're buying puts to cover their long positions, right? So when that starts to happen, there's going to be a point where either the S&Ps, start selling off, whether it's heavy or it's like a 4 or 5 day sell-off that's just out of nowhere. Well, the VIX was already rising with it. It just got to that point where it was either a technical level, or it was the VIX got to a certain point where risk was off. All right, so start noticing that. I noticed that here. We got the Fitch downgrade and the market still, we pulled back. And I told you guys we're going to have big up and down days. That volatility was kicking. But then we put our foot in the ground and we rallied. But it wasn't until the 4% we got there, bang, that was it. The market was like, that's too much, too quick. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to watch the dollar. Where is the dollar? Bitcoin. All right, that's the other one. So the dollar hasn't pulled back that much. It has, but it hasn't. It hasn't pulled back as much as that 10-year, and that's what's important. I still feel like this could be our higher low. What I don't want to see is PCE come in high, and this dollar, pulled this RSI back, and this thing is back up here at 105, 105.50, right? 105.5 pips, whatever you guys, whatever it's. I don't trade currencies. And this too is that red line again, guys, is that 50-day moving average. This is the range that we've had set for the dollar. It's pretty much followed it. It got into our box pretty much where we put everything, So that's what I am going to expect for gold. Let's see gold right now. Let me do some work on it. I'm going to tell you right now. So there we go. There's that neckline. Right? There's that neckline. So I was long gold back in back in December actually. December I got long gold and I bought GLD calls and I got like May June calls. It was like the 170s or so. It was like 170, 165. It was way out of the money, right? But the time to play gold is when nobody's talking about it, right? The time to play gold is when nobody's talking about it. This was where I was buying right here. Nope, right here. This pullback. That was the pullback because I missed it, right? I missed this pullback and I was watching it. And Collins knows because me and him have talked before I started the stream that last summer I was playing it. I was playing this, right? I was playing this last summer, guys. I played this. I played that rally. So what we have here though on gold is a really nice look at. This is a stage 1 rally that puts in a base, sells off to shake weak hands out in hopes to make that second stage higher. I'm gonna do you a solid one if you're still here. Saqib Ali, I'm gonna do you a solid. Do yourself a favor. Go look right now, and things can change. But go look right now and see where gold is trading in the yen, the euro, right? Go look and see where it's trading in Deutschmarks. Go see where is it at in comparison to US dollar? Like, is gold up at this is gold back up here in euro, right? That's what you want to see because that's why I got long gold. I got long gold back here in December because in the euro, in the yen, let me get a circle here for you guys. These are things that people don't tell you. A lot of people like to keep this stuff for themselves, but I'm here to help you guys. All I ask, again, if you haven't done so, just hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Let me get a box or something for you guys because I want to show you something important. There's always little hints and stuff that the market does that'll show you. I'll do this. Yeah, we'll do that. All right, we'll do this. So when I got long gold, right, it was right here. I missed the rally, right? I was waiting for a pullback. I was waiting for the pullback. I missed this triple bottom. I missed it. Why was I looking to get in gold? Well, at this time in November, go look. It was up here, right? It was up there in other currencies. It was already rising in other currencies. So once I got in, and I got that, when I got that pullback, right, and I know we held gold, I shit you not, was working at this $1,800 level, $1,900. You can go back to the charts and look in other currencies, right? Euro to gold, yen to gold, Deutschmarks to gold, you know, Aussie to gold, whatever the Aussie symbol is, whatever their symbols are. Gold was working to all-time highs in other currencies. So I went long gold. Look what happened. It just followed suit. And as I'm doing it, guess what? It's also, and I'm watching it in other currencies. Guess what? Then it's up here, right? It's up at all-time highs. So I'm like, I'm good. I don't have to sell this position. I followed it up. I looked at gold in other currencies, seen where it was. I seen from the US dollars, from the Dixie, USD, whatever you want to type in. It was just lagging it, right? They were putting in just about the same pattern, but that was that lead indicator. And that's what you want to look for is the lead indicators, all right? So that was a beautiful position for me last year. This year, really. I feel like this year's over with, but it's not. So that was a beautiful position. I got out of that thing in March. I was out of it here, guys, on this rally up here because then it started pulling back. But we still got up to 2,000. I could have held it. They were in the money. Those GLD calls that I got, it was like 175, I think. Don't quote me. It might have been 165, 175. I just know that it was one of those fives. Or it was either like 170, 175, or 160 or 165 calls on GLD. Whichever ones at the time were the most liquid. You know, and they were out of the money. They were dirt cheap. And I'm like, let's see if this works, right? Let's see if the dollar and gold in U.S. dollar form can follow suit with the rest of the, that's been put forth by other currencies. And it did. So there's gold. That's what we're going to do, man. You got to just watch treasuries. That's going to dictate the dollar. Watch the euro. That's going to dictate US dollar. Watch the yen. The yen is also another important factor that could give you a leading indicator. I think they have something coming up where they're going to be doing something. I forget. What's silver doing? I haven't looked at that. I want to get into the trade of the day real quick. And then I want to give you guys what's really important, right? What's really important is how am I going to position myself for tomorrow? All right, that's what's important. If this, then that. I want to have weakness and I want to have strength. I want to know where they are, where I need to be. All right, so let's go to the charts. So I took Meta today, right? I'm going to be upfront and honest with you guys. Guess what? I was not able to trade Meta today, unfortunately. I was not able to trade it. I tried my ass off to trade it today. I wasn't able to. So what I do, because I just moved the stream into the other room, right? So I have another monitor. I still got to get my other monitors up here. I still have another monitor. I need to get it up here. I need to get everything plugged in. I need to get everything set up. And I've been doing a lot of work, and I'm running out of time. I don't sleep as it is. So I've been trading off of my phone. Now, on the live, I come on live. I come on during the day, and I say before I do something what it is that I'm looking at, why am I looking at it, and I'm going to explain to you why I'm looking at it. Why was I looking at it short, and what was my expectations is what is most important, right? It's more important about the expectation and what am I expecting out of this trade. This was not a trade that I was expecting to make 100%, right? When I got in, that was not my best case scenario was like 25, 35%, right? You know, just getting some base hits in before tomorrow, before Friday. So what I do is I have my orders set up. I have my orders ready. I know what it is that I want to do. If the stock doesn't do it and it changes, no, it is what it is. I don't trade it, okay? Something changes about the trade, then I obviously take my orders away. Well, today, right, I said this morning, what I noticed was the negative divergence from Meta to the SPY. Now, I'm going to bring up two screens here for you, all right? Let's throw up the SPY real quick. We're going to throw up the SPY. So what did I say just a little bit ago? I said I expect the SPY to put in a $3-4 range at most. At most. Right? Well, we did just that, guys. I wrote down in the morning and I set it live, and everything is pre-recorded. Not pre-recorded, but it's recorded like I trade live during market hours right here. 449 right here was where I thought we would find support. 451 is where I thought we would have resistance. It was exactly that, guys. It was exactly that. All right. So if I know, or if I don't know, let me rephrase that. If I am expecting just a inside out, like an inside day where we cool off and relax because of the PCE data that we have tomorrow. We made a huge run yesterday. We have big data. That's what she said. Coming out tomorrow. That's what she said. You know, that I'm not going to expect much from the markets. The markets rally. We priced in that labor market news that the Fed wants to see. You know, you had Fed Harkin come on Friday and say we want to see the job market the labor market soften. We know he specifically said this. He said Friday or October we have the kids or people have to start paying back student loans. We want to see the labor market soften up. We start seeing these things. We could potentially be cutting rates, you know, first quarter into the second quarter of next year. Said that. That's why the market really took advantage of that number we got yesterday. Right? It really took advantage of it for those reasons. And it rallied Friday because of that. We've already been seeing a contraction. The revised GDP numbers that always come out, I always look at them. The revised CPI, the revised PPI, the revised consumer or like ISM manufacturing or whatever it is. There's always revised. So I've already known that they've been coming in where they've been coming in at. So the GDP was not surprising. But with him, it wasn't about Powell Friday, guys. I'm going to tell you right now, it was about the Philly Fed interview that happened Friday and what he was saying, right? We knew what Powell was saying, but you got a real feel from the Fed member, from the voting Fed member on what they want and what is his expectations and what do they want to see to be able to start pulling back the reins. All right, Meta. My expectations on the S&Ps were just as that, right? 550, 451, 449 is my range. That's a $3 range right there. That's all I'm expecting. So when I go to short Meta, I am not expecting a whole lot. Now, first off, I go to look to make sure that there isn't any type of news, downgrade, upgrade, news specifically with the company themselves. You always have to do that because you don't want to get into a trade and something is going on that you don't know about. You just got to do your little bit of due diligence. Even if the market's open and you're seeing something, you're like, oh, why is this doing this? Like, that's some big volume there. Why are we selling off like that? So, as soon as we opened up, look what Meta did compared to the S&Ps. All right? Look at the difference here. I'm going to show you in 1 second. All right? So, there's the S&Ps. That's this morning. Sorry. So, that's this morning, right? 10:30, 10 o'clock, 10:15. Right? You got a nice bounce. You held pre-market highs. Rallied to that 451. I don't know why I keep saying 450 to 451 area, right? Let's look at Meta. Let's look what Meta did, right? And it's more than just what Meta did. Look at this, right? And what do we have? So if you don't know, all right, I'm going to show you. This red box up here is the red 50-day moving average. So I took notice that Meta has made its little run, and it's a tad weak. It's gotten to the price action where it wants to be, and I feel like it's going to sit here and consolidate high to low up in this low 300 mark. 280 to 315, 290 to 320, right? Sit up in that range. Sit there till we get earnings or another catalyst or something to get this thing moving to the upside or downside. So I came in today. What else do we have? This is a daily chart of Meta. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Meta cannot get above that 50-day moving average. This is a stock I'm going to look at. If the market sells off, I'm going to be on Tesla, or I'm going to be on Meta short. Right? There's clear as divergence. Apple above its, I'm pretty sure above its 50-day. Microsoft above its 50-day. Right? Tesla above its 50-day. I went through it, I think, last night or this morning. It was either last night's live or this morning's live stream, trading live. I brought you guys the divergence. Like, look at Meta. It's nowhere near that Thursday candle from where we sold off, where the market opened and sold off. I'll show you. Right here. It's at the 50-day, right? If I go to the SPY, now you guys got to identify these things. I know it sucks to sit here and go through this little stuff here, but look at this, all right? It's important to see it. Look at the S&Ps were already up and through it, or yesterday, right? They already broke through that Thursday price action where we had that engulfing candle. We blasted through it. Meta didn't get through it, guys. Meta's still below that area, right? Meta's still below that Thursday open. We're still below the 50-day. This 50-day is just, it's keeping Meta down. So tomorrow, if BCE comes in a bit hot and we get some weakness, I will be short Meta. That's one stock I will have on the watch list, and my target's going to be a so, right? I will go over the things in a minute, but this is important, guys, because, again, I want to go back to the expectation. I am not expecting much out of this stock. I don't expect the SPY to sell off. I don't expect Meta to completely sell off if there's no downgrade, like certain news that's going to sell this thing off and separate it from the rest of the market. There's got to be a reason why a stock does something, whether it's to the upside or downside. If the markets are going to sit there and go flat, it's going to take Meta, a downgrade, news, a report from the company, government doing something with them, something to cause this thing to put in a big down day. So I'm like, I just want to catch $2, $1.50, $2, $3, whatever I can get out of it. I have look at this range, guys. Look at my level. My level is at 294.35. We literally stayed. I have 50-day as my resistance. That's why there's no line there. That's my 50-day. Previous day's high, 50-day. And I have this support level here at 294. Right? Support level. Sorry, I'll make it just a little bit bigger. All right, there's my support level. There's my 50-day. There's my range. We get up to it, it immediately sells off. Look at the manner in which it sold off of that 50-day pre-market going into the bell. All right, there's more to this. There is more, guys. Oh, gosh, come on. All right, I guess it's going to be a little hard to raise this volume up. But look at that volume, guys. You guys can see that, right? Look at that volume. So I identified this quickly, right? Quickly. I did not try to enter this thing down here. I didn't enter it here. Matter of fact, literally, and members in chat will tell you, Collins, if he's still here, will tell you. Chris, I think is his name, will tell you. All right. I literally had this order. So what happens is if I have an order sitting for so if I say like I want 10 contracts, right? And if I have it on, whether I have it on market order, limit order, it doesn't matter. I put in 10 orders. This is only if I'm doing it on my phone. If I put in 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 contracts, I put it in, I get the strike price, I get the amount that I want, and I push preview. So that preview is giving me the price that it is. So all I have to do is click and I'm in. That way I get my entry. As it's got some strength to the upside, boom, I'm putting it on. What happened is I was looking at this area right here, right where this red candle is. What did we have? We had a low volume bounce back at first. And I'm still kind of looking like, okay, so far I don't see anything to separate Meta from the market. If this thing, let me do this because I got to show you where the Fibonacci is. That's also another thing, right? And also VWAP was there. So I had VWAP, 38.2, all this fun stuff lining right up into this area, giving everyone a reason to be short. And I did not take the short there for a reason. All right, so here we are. And the market's going up, Meta selling off with volume. So it doesn't have to be perfect because you guys will get the gist of it. So what do we have? Look right here, guys. Let me zoom it in for you. What do we have? I have a bunch of price points coming into the same place at the same exact price point, right? I have multiple indicators lining up in the same price. So I don't know why I keep doing that. So I did not take this trade here because I called the bluff, right? What do we have right here? You have VWAP. You have the 9 EMA. VWAP is this pink line right here. There's your 9 EMA. You have your 9 EMA getting ready to cross below the VWAP. You're getting the stock. I'm going to erase that circle since you guys know where I'm talking about. All right. Right here. You have the stock coming in there. You have the 9 EMA, you have VWAP, and you have this 38.2 fib. You had what on this bounce back right here? You bounce back off that support level. What did you have? Look at that volume compared to that volume, right? Look at the difference, right? Now it's a little smudged, right? But you can see look at that buying pressure. That's not buying. Like, you want to see if this thing's going to be strong, you're going to see that volume bar be like this off of that level. You're going to see something like probably like this to get things started. You want to see when you see a stock get to that level, if it just sits there and it kind of just sits there and it like bounces off slowly with no volume, that is not a sign of, I'm not going to say urgency, but that's not a sign of strength. That's not a sign that there's a ton of buyers there that want in this stock at that level on that pullback. They're not buying it, right? The sellers have just stepped away is what it is. Whoever was short pre-market during or at 9:30, 9:40, whatever, at 9:33, whenever somebody got short, this is a sign of profit taking. Maybe you have a little bit of dabblers that are buying it on the way down into the support level to see if it bounces back to the 50-day. You don't know what people are doing, but you do know that there are more that buyers or sellers are in control, and this is more than likely just a take profit from anyone that was short more than anything else, right? We don't know that for a fact, but we know for a fact the buyers ain't there, right? The buyers aren't there. So we wait because I felt like, man, the S&Ps are strong. We're bouncing off of that level. My expectation of this trade is I'm not going to expect this thing to put in $10. $8. Know your ATR, the average true range. There's two, to me, how I use ATR. There's two different types of ATR. There's ATR when a stock has news or the market's volatile and we're putting in a big day. I always use Tesla as an example. It's the easiest one. If there is nothing going on and Tesla is just trading on a normal day, it'll probably give you, well, see, the price difference has changed now because it's at 200, and 2% of 2% of 200 is different than when it was at $100, right? It'll give you about $4 to $6, right? For sure. From high to low. The average true range on Tesla on a non-volatile day could be about $4, maybe $5, right? On a regular day, no volume, $4 $5, maybe $6. You get a volatile day, if there's news or something, you're going to get at least $8 to $10 out of that stock, if not 11 or 12 on the higher side, right? Whether that's up or down. You got news, you can expect some follow through. So if that stock has sold off $3, it bounces back at $1.50, you got $5 left on that thing, if not $4 at least. Start thinking about that when you trade. I do. I know the SPY's going to go sideways today. I don't know it is. You could have had news at 12 o'clock, something. But I know if we don't have any news, I'm expecting the SPY to stay between those two levels, which is a $3 level. And I would expect Meta to do just the same, right? Maybe bounce off of this level, maybe comes up to try to fill that gap and gets hit by that 50-day again and sells back off. That's where I want to be short. But I didn't. So, again, let's get back to the point. I literally press the button, and what happens is when I have it sitting for this amount of time, because as it's selling off like this, I'm already getting ready for the bounce back VWAP. I had 38.2. I had my 9 EMA to see if volume comes in, just in case there's something I don't know, where this selling steps back in and sends this thing below that support level. Because I've got my entry, right? I've got my support. So I know from here to here, if it cannot break this level, I've got that trade. I didn't take it. 2. The way this thing was going was I told everyone, I walked everyone through this trade, guys, and I do it all the time. At least what I'm sensing. Now, it doesn't mean I'm going to be right. But I said that we're going to break VWAP and go up. You're going to get a bunch of people that step in short right here, and they're going to get hurt because they see everything that I'm seeing, but they're not understanding their expectation is not where it should be. They're not understanding the markets aren't moving because there's nothing to move for. We have news tomorrow. You're not going to see big positioning the day before data point. If you do, there's a reason why. They already have a feeling, or it's a risk off day. We've rallied, huge data the next day, and they want to take some risk off just in case it comes in bad. You'll see that from time to time. So, I waited. Look at the strength. Wait, we're not done. I'm sorry to go off on a tangent. Look at the SPY, right? What's the SPY doing at this time? Look at these candles. What did I tell you guys yesterday? This is a momentum type of move. Look at this. The candles are the same size. As it's getting higher, it's getting smaller, but you're not getting a single red candle. You're not getting any tails either. There's no tails. This one has a little one. It's got a wee one. That's got a wee one. That's got a little one. This is telling you, all right, we're at that level. You're going to start getting some profits, right? People are going to sell that are long because they know, hey, we got up to this area. And this is what other traders are doing, right? They're getting their base hits because they know we're in a range and they're playing the range, right? They're playing the range. Maybe you have some others that are long for longer term, for the second half of the year, that want to buy the stock for longer term purposes. But the traders are trading the range, guys. They're trading the range. And that's exactly what my plan was on Meta. We got, guys, I am not shitting you. You can go right back to the live stream on YouTube. I could go here and find it. For anyone that doesn't believe me, and I really don't care, I'm not going to go back because it is there. If you don't believe me, you can go back to today's live stream, pinpoint to wherever 10:15 is. I shit you not. I said, guys, I am going to get short Meta. I'm getting short Meta. And it was like right here. What time is this? This is 10:15. Where's 10? Look at the SPY. We literally top tick this thing. I go to take my order in, and it comes up with a reload, and it had a big circle going around it. Because what happens is, again, when I have my orders set and ready and all I got to do is press a button, I want to say maybe it's after 5 minutes, maybe it's 3 minutes, because I already know this and I kind of forgot. And when I hit the button and seeing the reload when it making a circle, I'm like, shit, what it is, it's saving someone from having a position up and 10 minutes go by or whatever, and it accidentally gets pushed. That's the broker saving you, saying, do you really, like, are you sure you want to take this position? Because you've been sitting with this order. This order is just sitting there, right, ready to be filled, right? This is not me putting in like a buy order, like a limit order. This is a market order. I'm putting it up, so all I got to do is push the button, right? After 5 minutes, you can try it on your phone, see if it does it. See if, you know, you bring up the order, maybe you buy like a penny stock or something, and you pull up your order and you're ready to go just for when it gets to that level, and you can sell into strength and you're not trying to do stuff as the stock's moving around on you. You need to be ready. You need to get that entry. So you got to have your orders ready. You either got to have a limit order set out or physically do it yourself, right? I'll physically do it myself, right? I physically do it myself. That's how I trade, right? I'm just not doing it with the mouse. I'm doing it with my phone for right now. That's going to change this weekend. So again, it took me back. Look at this. Look at this. I was watching these options the whole time, guys. They opened up around 60 cents from when I was looking at them. They went all the way down to the low 30s. They were at 32 cents. The puts went to 32 cents. I think it was the 285s I was in. I was way out of the money. I know I was way out of the money. Might have been higher than that. I knew this though. But what I'm expecting is because of the reasons why there's a reason why I was in those options. I'm not going to give that out right now. I will give it out tomorrow if you guys want to join us live. If you haven't done so, hit that like button. There's a reason why I was in those options. All right, there's a reason why. And that reason just put itself right there. This candle, though, you could have got in at 35, 36 cents. I had to log out, and the members in chat were saying, yo, it's all good. You tried. It is what it is. And I called it out right when I was getting in, and it is what it is. That's my fault. I should have backed out of the order and had it kind of just sitting there where all I had to do was press it and then press it again to, send it off and get that fill. But I didn't. It's not that I forgot. It was just like, I forgot, and as soon as I pressed it, I had a feeling. I'm like, man, it's not gonna fill this order because it doesn't want like you to press buttons like by butt dialing, and it saves you, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing that it does that. Like somebody could be falling asleep, right? And if that order is sitting there for a while, it's not gonna. It's at least on E-Trade, it's not going to. It's not gonna fill that order. I think it's like 5 minutes. So, I tried. I tried to get in it, and I'm not looking for much. I'm just looking for $1.50, $2, right? I swear to you, this thing went from 31 cents to 70-some cents. Literally, this thing at the end of this candle, right here towards the bottom end of that candle, that thing right there was at 71 cents, over 100%. Over 100% in a 3-minute candle, guys. And we timed it perfectly because, again, I'm watching the options. So I'm seeing them just go. I'm looking, I'm like, man, 40. And I'm looking 30, high 30s. Then it gets down to the low 30s. I've already seen it draw down 100%. There's going to be a bounce back in those puts. I watched it from 60-some cents go all the way down to 30. Once I seen it at low 30s, 31, 30, I knew it. I'm like, that. And that also, watching the option price, also gave me the confidence that the SPY was going to turn around, right? That the SPY, I just use everything. It's just from being in the market in time. And guys, we literally got this thing damn near at the top of this candle, right? That we called it out to get in. We were already ready for this put. We were already ready after this bounce. We were just waiting for the markets to pull back, right? Because we already know we're probably about a standard deviation away from VWAP. And look, let me do something for you, because if I measure this, watch this. If I measure VWAP from here to here, wherever that's, where it's at, let's see if it does the same thing just on the opposite side, wherever the major gap is. Why is it doing that? I don't want to do that. Watch this, all right? Where's VWAP, right? Where's VWAP? I mean, that's where the close is, just about, right? You see how that makes sense? See how it put in this, the distance between VWAP and here, which this is probably the length, right? If I put this right here, maybe it is this one, right? Yeah, it is that one. That's the biggest part of the gap between the S&P, right? And that, and all it did, right? All it did was the S&Ps did the same exact thing just to the downside as it did to the upside. It put in its range. You have that gap, and then you have this gap. So that's all, right? This is like, you guys probably wouldn't be able to be told this, and that puts you right at the support level, right? So it's got the distance between the gap. If I'm saying it correctly, I just want to make sure people are like understanding what it is that I'm saying, right? So if I put that circle there, right, and then I take it and I put it here, you got more to the downside, right? You got more to the downside. But look, it still fits there, right? You know what I mean? It just did the same thing to the downside as it did the upside, right? But anyway, we top ticked these calls, guys, or puts. I'm sorry, we top ticked these puts. And a lot of it had to do with the option price, where Meta was not making any new highs. Yes, it broke above VWAP, and I said it. I said, guys, do not get short here. Yes, the 38.2 stepping in. Yes, you could have got psyched out right here, guys. You could have got psyched out on this trade right here on this candle. Why? Look at the volume start to pick back up. And I said it. I said the volume's picking up. But all it's doing is, these are traders that are going to be wrong. They're expecting a move that's not going to be there. They're expecting a move that's not going to be there. I want to be short as high as I can be. I was letting it go because I was going to see if we could get up to this area at like 296.70, 296.65, right? And this stuff comes with time, and that's probably about where we got 297, right? That's about where I was wanting to get it to, right? So being able to identify, one, your expectations of the day and whatever it is you're trading is so important. What is your mission? If you know you have data coming out the next day, you just had a day prior with big move, chances are you're going to consolidate. Chances are, if there's not news or a technical setup, like you had a reason for Bitcoin, Mara, Riot, all those stocks to move, not sure if they did or not, but that's separating itself from the markets because there's news there, right? That's important to identify those type of things, and relative strength and relative weakness. Meta was weak off the bell with a lot of volume, right? With a lot of volume. I'm not going to say like a lot, but it was pretty heavy this morning for the type of day. Look at the SPY. It didn't have nearly any of it. And the thing is that volume just continued and continued and continued, right? So that was the trade of the day that we called out, and it was very unfortunate. And I got upset at first, but I told myself the reason I didn't get upset is because members talk just helped me through it, right? It is what it is, you know. There's no reason to get upset, but me, I'm like, man, it feels like a morning wasted when that's when you got to get your money, and because I didn't back out of my order and redo it, you know, cost me money today. So will it happen again? No, I'm not letting it happen again. You know, that to me, that's kind of being lazy, because in a sense, I know if I leave it up there for too long, it's not going to fill the order for me, because it thinks that I've like fallen asleep, or it's been sitting there for too much time, and it's trying to save someone from hitting a button and losing money when they don't mean to be in something, is what that's for, right? It's what that's for, and it's a good thing they do that. Again, I was just looking for $2, $1.50. I'm just going to get my move and the momentum and just take my pieces and get paid to manage my risk for tomorrow. I'm going to get green today, you know, and that's going to manage my risk for tomorrow, though. Because I have capital that's going to, like, I've earned the right to take the risk, right? I backed myself up with a green trade today. Don't want to give it back. But when we get a move tomorrow, and I've got the direction, and you know, we're on it, it makes me feel better when I'm in the trade. Those type of things can really help you and your mindset with growing your account and being able to size up over time. You're identifying what's going on in the markets. You know, you're not expecting much. You're getting a couple dollars. You're putting on your trades, getting your base hits, your doubles, whatever. And then when them home runs come, you've gotten some green behind you, so you're comfortable. You know, you're not worried about how much you're always worrying about, not worried, but you're always more focused on managing risk than making money. But you know, it allows you to be stress free, at least as less stress free as you can be, because you're growing your account and you're able to, you know, up your size as you're packing on the gains, right? And that's what it's about, right? It's not overnight success here, right? So that's that. So again, I'm going to be short Meta, guys. I'm going to be short Meta tomorrow if that number comes in hot. Even if it doesn't, I'm still going to look for Meta for weakness. All right. Let's go look at. I wanted to show you guys that that one. I'll probably be, depending on what happens tomorrow, I will probably catch this bounce back. And these levels are clear as day, guys. Clear as day. VFS. I'm sorry. This I'm gonna pull up a 15-minute chart for you guys. All right. I know how long have we been going for? I don't want this to go on too long. Wow, it's already been over an hour. All right, so I'm going to be watching this tomorrow. So why would I think we would get a bounce? I'm going to show you right now because it's already holding that level, that previous high, right? You've had big shorts here, right? They've sold this thing off. Whoever is short has a lot of profit. Not a lot, but some people I'm sure have a lot of profit. People are going to start taking their profits. This seems like you have a previous double top here. You broke it, but you regained it, as you can see here, right? It's sitting. Look, support. Big green candle after this one didn't break, right? It's not huge, but it's a pop. It's a green candle because it's making that level now support, right? You'll get that. That's why you can look at this chart and say, yes, the probability of a gap up or a bounce back tomorrow is more likely than a gap down, unless there's some kind of news. Again, this company is going to do an offering if they haven't already done so. You got to read the filings or you wouldn't know this type of stuff. All right. You got it here. You broke it, which is crazy. You broke this support level, right? Previous double top, you broke it, turned it into support. It rallied. Support, broke it. Now it regained it. Watch out. This thing could get up to the 50s, 64, 55. I think it gets to 50 here first. This is a level you got to look for. This is a double top in a sense, right? You have you could have an inverse low cup and handle that gets put in where it trails back. If it gets to 64, 64.50, I will be short this stock, I promise. So I'll be looking at Meta tomorrow. I'll be looking at, the usual. If you guys want to join us tomorrow, if you guys have any questions, ask your questions now. I'm going to get off of here, but I'll give it a minute for questions. And what do you guys think about that analysis? Are you guys able to do that yourselves? Am I explaining it well? Let me know in the comment section. All right, let me know in the comment section. I appreciate you guys being here tonight. Thank you guys if you're tuning in a little bit later. If you could help me, not help me, but my goal is to bring on some of the people in finance that I look up to bring them on here, right? So we can all have a discussion. Maybe you guys can have questions and talk to them, and you'll I'm talking people that you see on CNBC, right? Ask them questions, whatever, if they're open for that. I need your help by liking and subscribing if you haven't already done so. That is my goal, is to continue to give you guys some education, tell you guys what it is that I'm doing, what it is that I see. I also, I'm going to go into it real quick, but if you could like and subscribe, that's all we ask, right? We're not here to have you sit here for an hour's sales pitch, spend money, only to go into a group where you're continued to get sales pitched, and you just find yourself down this road where you hate the industry, because it's going to happen to you, and we're trying to do something different here and build something different here. So if you can appreciate that, a like and a subscribe would be great, because I would like to be able to bring some people on and continue to give you guys education. This is what I do for a living. It's not that I procrastinated for a while. It's just it got to a point where there was so much stuff out there. I'm like, let's go on here and give some people that don't have thousands of dollars just to waste, right, and be lied to, and give it an analysis for a day in 5 minutes. How the hell can you come up with a game plan when people that come on and tell you what they're going to do 5 minutes before the open? Huh? What can you do? You cannot come up with your own game plan, getting an analysis 10 minutes before the bell opens. You can't do it. But first, let me take you through a sales pitch before I even give it to you. That's more important. Me getting your money is more important. You got to think about what's really going on, guys. And it's not that I hate them. You guys do what you want to do. You want to go to a group, that's fine. I would just hope that they would appreciate your money and really, watch some of the stuff that they do here. So that's not what I'm trying to do here, right? Their job is to get recurring revenue. My job here is to trade. My job here is to teach you. My job is to be able to get to a point that I can bring on some people that I look up to, and do some interviews and things of that nature. All right, so yeah, man, Collins, I'll see you in the morning, bro. I appreciate everything, my guy. I'll be up here bright and early, ready to go for football. So thank you guys for joining us. We ain't got no questions. Leave a question in the comment section if you're watching this video later. Thank you for your time. Hit that like button, subscribe, and we will see you tomorrow morning. Ivy League Trading, YouTube.com. We trade live right here, Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 4. See you guys.